Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness down the river of tranquility to fill the lake of life with love.
Good evening, our fellow lovers of love out there, and welcome to yet another journey through some love and whatnot. I don't know. Tonight we are diving into some of the most intriguing and challenging relationship dilemmas, as usual. From navigating the complexities of travel companions and their personal items to understanding the dynamics of punishment in adult relationships, we cover it all. We'll also tackle sensitive topics like discovering a partner's online habits and dealing with unexpected family connections and addressing double standards in friendships. Plus, we'll explore parenting concerns, from managing a child's stress to making the most of family time and workplace issues, including dealing with the difficult bosses and coworkers. So join us for an honest and heartfelt discussion on love, life, and everything in between. And I think we've talked about this before, but we're going to cover it again. There's a disturbing trend running down in the world these days, right? And it's this notion that it's almost like you're running to try to be a victim. Everybody kind of wants to be a victim, and I kind of get it, right? Because you get some sympathy, and life is hard and difficult, and you want it. And since everybody's kind of has to go through these hard and difficult times, everybody can kind of relate. But the problem with the victim mindset is that you can very easily live there. And ultimately, what has to come down to it is that, it removes when you have this victim mindset, ultimately, you're the one who has to be responsible for digging yourself out of whatever hole you find yourself in, regardless of whether it's your whether it's your fault for being there. You could be there for nothing you've done, right? You could do everything correct, and you still end up in a big, deep, dark hole. But ultimately, you are the one who still has to be the one has to accept the task of digging yourself out. And if you're sitting there blaming everybody else for you being in that hole, you're never going to accept the responsibility that you need to figure out how to dig yourself out of it. You're spending so much energy blaming other people that you're not spending energy working on your problem, working on the immediate solutions to your problem, which is you. But it's unfair, but life's not fair. Never has been in the history of life itself. It predates humanity, right? Life being unfair, it predates humanity. And so, I don't know, be careful out there before you start living in the victim mindset is my suggestion. It's okay to kind of have a day, blame the world for your problems, legitimately or not, right? It's one thing to get it out. It's another to live there.
Yeah.
It's another to live there. So, move on. Not to give the other person or the other whatever some grace. It's because it's what's best for you. Accept where you are and just start working your way out of it, because that's the only way you're going to get out of it anyway. Ultimately, that's what you're going to have to do. And then if all that victimizing yourself, all it does is waste time and energy in the long run. Now, there's some cathartic to it, right? To a point, right? I get it. I get the cathartic need to kind of vent. It's not what I'm talking about. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you end up living there. So anyway, that's the danger that I think we should all be very careful of as we go through life and these challenging times is, don't victimize yourself. But there is some hope on that. This self-victimization has become such a popular thing that the young people, the really young, the 12, 13-year-olds and younger, they're completely rejecting it.
Oh, wow. It's coming back full circle.
It's coming back first look. They're so tired of hearing
The
everybody.
pendulum swings.
They're so tired of hearing everybody, all their parents and older siblings and whatnot whine and moan. They're just sick of it. They're not hearing it anymore. They're just not having it anymore. So young people are. Justified or not, they're tired of it, and they just don't want to hear it anymore. So that's for that. All right, so we're going to start with relationships tonight.
Okay. Husband thinks it's weird that my friend will bring a sex toy when she and I travel together. How will I explain to him that it's not weird? I'm sorry, my friend. That's a little.
Well, it's a little weird that he knows that.
How does he know?
Yeah, so someone has told him, which means, I don't know. Depends on the circles you run in. It may or may not be weird. She doesn't find it weird because her circles are open with these type of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
He finds
obviously
he finds it weird because who does such a thing, right? So
well, some people bring them on their honeymoon.
So is it weird? It's weird to him, and that's how you're going to have to accept it. Let it be weird to him. Stop trying to talk him out of it. You're not going to be able to, so just accept it.
Yeah.
He's likely accepted it. It's just weird to him. Is he throwing a fit, or is he just saying this is weird and bizarre? She's weird. Yeah, she probably is a little weird. It's my guess. She's not on the normal side of the friendship scale, in your group circles or whatnot. So no, don't try to talk him out of it. Because why? Why would you? You're not gonna. It's gonna think it's weird. Even if he shuts up about it, he's still gonna think it's weird. So just let him think it's weird. Skin off your back. That's my suggestion. All right, what's next?
My boyfriend regularly puts me in time out. How normal is punishment in grown relationships?
Well, timeouts are probably not as frequent as other forms of punishment, but silent treatments, naggings, the withholding of intimate relations, all these things are quite common in relationships. They shouldn't be, but they are. Timeout's a little childish, but as we said, lots of people are victims these days. And
I would refuse to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, what's he gonna do? What do you got to do? Sit in the corner? There's something weird about that.
Yeah.
But who knows what kind of relationship he came from?
Maybe he's a closet dominant.
No, my guess is he can't deal with his own emotions, and so in order to do that, he puts her on timeout rather than just saying we need a timeout.
Or I need a timeout.
I need a timeout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not mature enough to deal with that. I mean, there are 24, but even still, I would end that. You need to put a stop to that before that become entrenched in a relationship. You don't want that entrenched in a relationship.
No.
That's just, it's not going to end well. Okay, what do we have next?
I just came across all my boyfriend's porn on Reddit. I had a bad reaction to it, and my boyfriend swears it's a normal thing and healthy. How should I handle this? He's a pic collector.
Yeah.
Is what he is. He's a picture collector. It's not like he's using professionals.
I don't know. Lots of people have their different things. Is it normal? I don't know. Is it healthy? To a point, no. Right? It's not like you're collecting stamps.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same thing. So is it normal? Probably more normal than we'd like to think. Is it healthy? Probably not. But as we say, we've said this many times before, the land of Fantasyland stays in your head. It's a place for it. So there is that, right? People should be able to allow to have their fantasies.
Yeah.
And so as long as it's not directly impacting the rest of your life, you're probably going to have to deal with it.
that regard. Yeah.
Especially if you just kind of stumble across it. It was never an issue before, and now all of a sudden it's become an issue. Maybe the hiding of it can be an issue, but your reaction to that kind of justifies his at least desire to. You're not willing to understand that part of him, and so he keeps it hidden. And maybe it's a deal breaker, right? We don't know. Everybody, this is one of those things that you can cross somebody's value lines with that type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why he kept it hidden, because he knew it crossed her value lines. So there's not a single answer to this one, but so I'm going to go back and stick with, is it normal? Probably more normal than we'd like to admit. And is it healthy? Probably not. How should you handle it? It depends on how serious your relationship is, and if you want to accept his fantasy life and let it be its thing. If he hasn't brought it into the rest of your relationship, so it's probably has before. You just kind of stumbled onto it by looking at his Reddit account, which means stop looking at other people's Reddit accounts. Don't look at people's private stuff. Because most of the time, it's nothing you really need to worry about. It's things like this.
If you were snooping, that's
a different issue. Now, yeah, if you're just kind of sat down to order Amazon and he left his Reddit thing up because he was, lazy last night, yeah, that kind of thing's going to happen. The smart way to do it is to have no reaction. Unless it's directly impacting your life, the smart thing to do is probably no reaction. Now, that's probably not realistic. Especially if it's crossed your morals somewhere. But if it's not, you learn to live with it. My guess is she has her things that she has asked him to accept, and he has. And so she's going to have to decide if this is one of those things she can. Okay, what's next?
I'm pretty sure my friend and my mom hooked up. What should I do now?
Nothing. Now, granted, it's, they're 22 and the mother's 50, early 50s. So it's a relatively large gap, but everybody's adults. Do I personally find it a little creepy? Sure, but everybody's still an adult. We're not assuming, they didn't mention the father, so it doesn't sound like there's any cheating or anything like this. They're probably single mother.
Yeah, it was a single mom.
Yeah, it's two adults. Is it creepy? Yes. Are you going to need some brain bleach? Yes, she will. But you'll figure it out. Life's messy and ugly and doesn't make sense sometimes. And so my suggestion is don't try to figure it out. Matter of fact, try not to think about it if you can. Just, don't think about your mother's intimate relations with anybody, and you'll be better off.
No, that's like thinking about your grandparents or something.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Is it weird? Yeah, because that's 30 years is a big age gap. I don't care who it is or what direction it is. It's kind of weird. But everybody's adults. And frankly, at this point, it's none of your business. Sadly to say, right? It's none of your business.
It isn't.
So just do nothing. That's what you do now. Not a dang thing. Buy some brain bleach if they have some. I know we don't have any of that kind of thing, but yeah, figure out how to bleach that knowledge from your brain is about my suggestion. Yeah. Well, try to forget it. All right, what's next?
I had an argument with my boyfriend about shaving. How would you respond? He wanted her to shave her legs, and she's like, why should I? She shaves her pits because of body odor.
That's how it causes body odor, but okay.
She doesn't feel that shaving her legs should be a deal breaker, but he's like really upset. He says it's gross.
No, some people find it gross, just like some people find, the hairy back thing gross, right? It is what it is. I don't know. I'm very reluctant to tell somebody, yes, you have to shave because somebody else wants you to on that type of thing, right? Someone needs to accept you for who you are and these kind of things. And so if they can't, then it's a sign that they can't accept you for who you are. I do want to cover that, armpit hair is not what causes it's not what causes stink. So if she wants to let her armpit hair grow, she perfectly can. That's not the issue. The hair under there is not what causes smells. It doesn't like trap smells or anything in there. So I don't know. No. How would I respond? One, it's going to depend what you mean by argument. Is it a discussion or is it a genuine actual argument?
Well, he was getting upset, and it was emotional.
25.
That's why she says it's an argument.
25. My guess is he'll get over it. He's 25. He doesn't know any better yet. He feels it's gross because he's never experienced it. Right? Everybody shaves their legs. Yeah, but no, they don't. You've now met someone who doesn't deal with it, like the adult. Now maybe he can't, but that's his choice, not yours. That would be my thing. If he wants to end the relationship because you don't shave your legs, that's on him, not you. It's a stupid ass reason to end a relationship, but there it is. But that's his choice. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to shave your legs, there's nobody else should be using emotional games to get you to shave your legs. That's the more dangerous part of the equation there. Okay.
My girlfriend has spent the last 3 years telling me what meant that men and women can't be friends. Now she has a guy friend. How do I show her that she is being hypocritical? Well, she probably knows she's being hypocritical. She just doesn't want you to. She doesn't trust you.
Well, if you have to, you can bring it up at some point. But I don't know. So this is one of these things where you let sleeping dogs lie. Do you need to be told that you were right, or do you just want to be right? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Do you, if for whatever reason you have the need to be told being right, or at least for it to be known you're right verbally, yeah, I suppose you could cover it. Doesn't seem very manly now, does it? Just saying, doesn't seem very manly. Just be right. You know you're right. Now she knows you're right. Sometimes it doesn't need to be said.
And I really appreciate that in our relationship, by the way.
You don't need to say things, right? Just that's how I would deal with it. Just let sleeping dogs lie. That's my best guess on him.
Because then she may come to you at some point and say, I was mistaken.
Yeah, trust me, pointing out that somebody was wrong never goes as well as you think. But some class when you are correct, it always goes better than you think. Even if that reward is down the line and seemingly unattached. It's not. Like you said, you appreciate the fact that I don't feel the need to have to be told I'm right.
And that sometimes compels me to go, you were right about that, hon.
Yes, but it also compels you to have faith in our relationship that I get bacon cooked for me all the time. So, I shut up. General happiness relates to general happiness. I'm going to be quiet. Right?
Yeah.
That's how real relationships actually kind of work, right? It's not these big things. It's the little things. I keep quiet because, I don't need to be right. She appreciates that. And so I get little things and benefits. You tell me you love me by making me bacon. or when I open the fridge and I find a soda and a Snickers. Those are little I love yous, right? That's what those things are.
I do. The underpants nuns regularly visit.
I'm just saying this is what these things are for. And so, sometimes your way of showing her you love her is shutting up.
And underpants nuns do the laundry, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's next?
My boyfriend got a happy ending massage, and I don't know what to do. How do I move forward?
That's gross. Why are we having to deal with that? 25, and I'm willing to bet he doesn't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, because it's just sex.
It's not even because that's in his mind. That's not even really sex. That's just a stress relief. But what he doesn't understand is he's not single anymore. He used to go and that kind of was a thing he did when he was single, and it was fine. And so when he went to do the thing, now that he's in a relationship, his normal routine can no longer continue. This is one of the rare times where I'm going to say you give him one, just simply because it's his routine. He didn't think of it the way that he should have, right? He's young enough where he's stupid, 25. I'd give him one, but that's it. You only get the one. No, you get to be dumb once on this kind of thing, just because it's a habit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming this is a habit. This is just kind of what he done for whatever reason.
Well, you are right.
So he's a plumber, worker, construction worker, something. He goes in, he gets a massage or something like that, and
truck driver.
Yeah. All right. Now it makes even more sense. Yeah. So you give him the one. So, but you can't do it anymore, right? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the habit. But no, that part of the deal of having an actual relationship is you have to give that up. Everybody's sacrificing something. He's going to have to sacrifice his happy endings. Now, on her side, she may have to, because make sure she doesn't slack off on her part of the deal. Right? Truck drivers are on the road a lot. Stress of driving with traffic. I can get why he needs a stress relief. So she's either going to have to give him the freedom to relieve himself.
Well, yeah.
Or give him the helping hand at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Type thing. It's all right. Like we said, everybody has to make a sacrifice in here. And, she's going to have to give a little too. But it doesn't mean she has to give a little that way. She's just going to have to, be more accommodating, either on letting him have his, we talked about the other lady earlier was upset of his Porsche. She's going to have to give a little.
Except porn or something.
Yeah, except him taking care of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't have to accept him going to the happy ending place. She doesn't have to do, right? And that's not a suggestion. But I'd give him the pass as long as he changes his behavior in the future.
Yeah.
Because given circumstance. Okay.
Now we have parenting questions.
All right.
I think my wife is freaking out too much over our daughter's health and weight. Okay. Wife is gym rat. Okay. Super fit.
First baby?
The oldest. 16-year-old girl. And she is, well, I always called it, a little bit of still baby fat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the girl, she eats junk food when she goes out because she's a teenager. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And she doesn't feel like working out. She has no desire to do it. And mom is just really wigging out, and dad is starting to become concerned.
Yes, because if mom wigs out, what you're actually going to end up doing is you're going to teach that child to stress eat, and she's actually going to end up with weight issues. Well, she's increasing the likelihood that she'll end up with weight issues one way or the other, right? She's either going to eat out of spite or she's going to develop this need to please her mother. And my guess is she's already chosen the direction she'll take. So this is the one where you're gonna have to sit your wife down and look, you're gonna be counterproductive if you don't stop. It's perfectly reasonable to ask your daughter to eat healthy, right? And to try to limit the snacks when she's out, right? But don't expect something that's not realistic. And it's perfectly reasonable to ask your daughter or to, exercise or whatnot, but maybe instead of asking, give them opportunities to tag along. Not have to do anything, just come with me. Maybe find her friends, maybe find a friend of hers that wants to do a yoga class or something, and you can enlist a friend to go to yoga classes. This is one of these times where sometimes as a father, you do have to step in between the mother and the daughter. No, and how you do that, you have to be very delicate, right? Sometimes it can be over hair, it can be over all kinds of weird things, right? You don't know when that time is when you have to say, no, sorry, I'm taking this one over. This is causing too much stress to the family. I'm taking this one over. So you're just going to have to do it. This is the time where you're just going to have to take this part of that relationship over, and your wife's going to have to accept it. Women are better at this, at interjecting themselves between fathers and their sons. They're better at choosing that time. I would actually argue they're too good at it. They choose it too often, but they're better at knowing they have to do this. Men are reluctant to step in between their daughters and wives. Yeah.
Well, rightly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is one of those occasions where you're just going to have to know there's too much potential damage to the family and this is one of those times where you step in, you have to talk to your wife. She's creating more of an issue and you're going to deal with it. So you know what? If she's 10 pounds, 15 pounds overweight, it's fine. Overweight, whatever that is, right? It's fine. She's not unhealthy. She's not obese. She doesn't have eating disorders. She's eating like a normal teenager. She's fine. She's not an athlete. She doesn't have to be super fit. She's fine. And your wife's going to have to accept it. That's on that one. All right.
Do you think it's extra going to the beach once a week, considering it's 2 hours away? She has a 5-year-old and a 10-month-old and still some postpartum depression.
Uh-huh.
The 5-year-old and the 10-month-old do great at the beach, shockingly so.
Okay,
they're having a great time.
Yeah.
And it makes her feel happy seeing them have a good time. It lifts her postpartum depression a little bit. It helps her. So she's still, even on top of all of that, she's wondering if she's asking too much.
Well, asking too much of who?
Herself, the family, her husband,
There's 3 things. Any good husband will support you doing anything that helps you get through the postpartum depression. And if that's taking the kids to a beach 2 hours away, he'll figure out a way to pay for the gas, right? He'll do it. He will. And so don't worry about your husband 9 times out of 10, right? He'll be supportive of whatever you need to do because he's feeling lost. He doesn't know how to help you. And so him to help you is figuring out how to pay for the gas for you to get to a beach once a week, he's happy to do it because that's a problem he can solve. That's a solvable problem. Right? This other thing, he doesn't know how to solve it. He doesn't know how to help you. So you're giving him actually something he can actually do. I can pay for the gas. I can make dinner, right? You're giving him solvable problems. So on his, don't worry about your husband. You having a better mood and your kids having a fun day at the beach is better for your family. You already know this. You just explained it. So you're trying to justify it to who? Right? This is your postpartum depression speaking. And yes, 2-hour drive seems a little excessive until you actually explain why. right? If she says, I spend 2 hours and go to the beach every week just because, yeah, people are gonna, yeah, that's maybe a little extra. No, it's helping me through my postpartum depression. The kids are doing great, which relieves stress on my husband, which yeah, go. Do it. You're not flaunting wealth. You're not doing anything other than trying to the best you can to raise your family and get yourself through a tough time. And my encouragement is to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there's a lesson there for the rest of the week that maybe getting yourself to a park or getting yourself out and about and becoming a little bit more active is what you're actually needing.
That's an idea.
Maybe you're needing some human connection. And at the beach, you're outside, you're doing things, you get some sun, vitamin D, all that's good for you. But maybe, maybe it's time for you to reach out and go rejoin your church activities or your local community center or whatever it is.
What about a local moms group?
Yeah.
Mothers groups are in every city.
Yeah, if you're religious, join your church or your house of worship. If not, you've got community centers, moms groups, learning pods. There's all kinds of ways to connect to your community. I think maybe that is a sign that you need to get out more.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I get it. You're so focused on your kids that, that's what your focus is right now. But at some point, that focus is going to have to shift to a more holistic. And it's going to have to include a little bit of you. So start thinking of that as well. Okay.
How do I make 3 hours meaningful? By the time he gets home from work and the kids go to bed, he has 3 precious hours and he wants to make them count.
Okay. First thing is, don't put too much pressure on those 3 hours because you're going to ruin them. Right? The best times happen organic. So what you want to do, well, my suggestion is to be open for those 3 hours. What do the kids want and need that day? Do they need you to sit down and play some video games with them? Sit down and play some video games with them. Do they need help with their homework? Help them with their homework. Do they need help cleaning the room? Help them clean the room. Do they need help with a Lego project? Build a Lego project. Do they need to learn to ride a bike? Ride a bike. Do they want to go outside and throw a baseball? Go outside and throw a baseball. It's not the specific. The specific isn't the thing. It's for you to be home and be ready to do whatever needs to be done for those 3 hours. Because they need you for all of those things. And you've got 3 hours every day to work those things in. But the best thing is to work them in when they want them. So they'll want you. They'll want your time. Trust me. They will. They're dying for your time. So just give them anything. It's the time. It's the non-structured or interactions that are really the most meaningful. It's those 3 hours a day of non-structured interactions. It can be anything. So don't focus on the thing, focus on the then. You've got those 3 hours. You cherish those 3 hours. So cherish them. Just be there. Rest will take care of itself. So yeah, that's it. You make them meaningful by making them meaningful. They're meaningful. That makes them meaningful. Don't put too much pressure on it. Just let them exist. You know what to do. Yeah. Okay.
My 5-year-old says they're stressed all the time. Well, he started school.
Yeah.
And now he's bemoaning, he didn't have any stress when he was 2.
Nobody has any stress when they're 2. Yeah.
And now he's going to school and he's stressed.
Well, it's because school is stressful, especially for a 5-year-old. I mean, one, I so suggest you find alternative forms of education rather than our structured school system. But that's a whole different discussion that I don't want to get in here. But partly he's echoing the world. right? He sees the world. Everybody's stressed. Everybody's feeling like victims, right? Like we talked about. And so he's reflecting that. They reflect what they see. How does a 5-year-old even know what stress really is? He doesn't know. You don't really know. I feel something. And at school, at 5-year-old, oh man, there's so much that's potential stressful or that's, uncomfortable because it's new. Is that stress? Yes and no. So I don't know. One, might want to check the school environment. Maybe it's not a healthy educational environment. That could be part of it. At 5, I also wouldn't put up the fact that, they may be trying to manipulate you, trying to get out of having to go to school.
Mm.
5-year-olds aren't always known for their honesty. So there is that potential, but I don't want to just completely dismiss it and say, well, he's just reflecting the culture of his times. He doesn't even know what stress is, which is my instinct. But at the same time, so check the school environment. Make sure he's not being bullied or something like that, I think is something to think about. But
He needs a friend.
yeah, and it could just be he's having trouble adjusting. It could just be he doesn't like school, which is pretty standard. I used to be able to do anything I want. Now I've got to spend half my day at this place where they tell me what to do. I don't want to do that. Yeah, who wants to do that? No one likes school. Well, and lots of people don't like school. It's overly structured learning. I get it. All right, what's next?
Okay, calling toddler young children's friends boyfriend, girlfriend. It seriously irks her. And she wants to know how to address it when people do it to her child.
Oh, yeah. Here's my suggestion. Don't worry about it. Yes, it's irritating, but it's also meaningless. It's meaningless. None of those things mean anything on toddlers. Yeah, it's irritating. It's highly stupid. It makes no sense. Why do people do it? I don't know. But at the same time, is that really a hill you want to die on? Is that really this place you want to spend energy on? It seems to me that it's one of those things that will run its course. One of these victim things again. Yeah. Don't let yourself be a victim over somebody else's foolishness. Just ignore it. Move on. Don't waste your energy on it. It's my suggestion. It's not worth it. Because in 3 months, it's not going to mean anything. Right? It's completely meaningless. It's meaningless drivel. Why some people think it's fun, don't know. But some do. So, yeah. There we go. All right. What's next?
Okay, feeling I don't know as a father. Is this normal? Okay, he had a rough start. Their baby was born like 8 weeks ago.
Okay.
Had trouble breathing at first. Was in the ICU unit for babies for a day or so. That everything's fine now, but they were really scared. Of course, first time parents too. On top of it all. And then they had some sleeping difficulties, and they're sleep deprived is what they are.
So normal parenting.
Yes.
Yeah. And yes. I'm just the simple answer to the question is yes, it's perfectly normal to feel to be uncertain of yourself as a parent, especially when you're in your first one, right? Your third or fourth one, it's like a line cook at this point. Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, you gotta make crack a few eggs. I'll make that an omelet out of that one, right? You don't worry so much about it. But as a first-time parent, especially in those first couple months where you're sleep deprived and you don't know what you're doing because, quite frankly, you don't know what you're doing, and no one can really. You can take all the parenting classes and stuff you want, and nothing prepares you for actually having to parent. And so, yeah, you're gonna feel unsure of yourself. You just are, and that's okay. You'll get through it. The very fact that you are worried about yourself as a parent is the best sign that you're going to ultimately be a decent parent, because you want to be one. Wanting to be a decent parent is the single biggest factor in being a decent parent. And bad parents don't question themselves. They don't care enough to. So the fact that you're questioning yourself, it's a good sign. It means you want it. It means you want to do the job well. You're worried about the consequences of not doing the job well. So you'll be okay. You're going to make mistakes? Of course you will. But my guess is they won't, stick in this pile of mistakes of human parenting. There's a big pile over there. Just toss yours onto it. You won't feel so bad when you realize how many parenting mistakes have been made previous to you. And yours will be buried by the ones who are coming up to toss them on the pile, because it's constant. Your mistake will be buried by everybody else's mistakes really fast. So don't worry about these kind of things. Just try your best and you'll be fine. That's my advice for that.
Okay.
All right.
When are late school nights acceptable? Okay, the kids are like 8 and 10, and this is Dad, and he's wondering, every once in a while, can't there be a late school night? And Mom's like, no, because she has to get him up in the morning,
Well, here's the rule. Here was my rule. All right. Is you can have as late as night as you want. I don't care when you do it, but you're still getting up in the morning. Right? You're going to pay the consequence. And having to pay the natural consequences limited the amount of times they were willing to do that. Yeah, having to go through your day, yet, with 3 hours of sleep, just terrible. They realize that quickly. You just have to make sure that they have to pay the consequence. So here's the thing. If you're going to give them a late night, then it's Dad's turn to wake them up. Or you don't get it again, right? Now, what was the ages? 10 and what?
8.
8 and 10?
Yeah.
8 might be a little young. 10-year-olds getting to the point where they can actually deal with their consequences of their actions. So, yeah, every now and again, because childhood is for practice, and they can't practice these things if they don't get the chance to practice these kind of things. They can't practice monitoring their sleep, making rational choices about, I'm going to sacrifice my sleep tonight for this special thing, and I know I'm going to have to go to bed early tomorrow or whatever, right? They can't practice these kind of things and making these choices if they don't have opportunities to. You have to, it's a strange thing. You have to give them opportunities to fail so they know how to, or how to avoid it. It's practice. They're practicing for adulthood. You have to let them practice, is my suggestion. All right. What's next?
Work questions. If you don't like it, get the F out of here. Who the F are you to come into my office? Do you want me to waste my effing precious time on someone like you? My boss said these things to me.
So why are they still your boss?
You would just immediately leave.
I
would.
Yeah.
I would.
Done it before. Yeah. Why do you want to be work in a toxic environment? Now, there are some caveats to that. Maybe there's reasons you have difficulty getting a job. There's not many jobs in your area. You're difficult to hire. Maybe you've got a criminal past or something, and it's literally difficult for you to get a job. So there are some reasons. Maybe it pays more than it should. and you're actually part of the reason is you're getting paid to deal with a crabby boss, that kind of thing. So there are some caveats to that. But as a general rule of thumb, I don't work some places that make it difficult to want to go to work. At least not long term. You're looking for an out as soon as you can find one. And that's kind of what that sounds to me. Because, yes, his job is to deal with, that's literally his job, is to deal with it. Now, if it's a larger company and you have an HR department or he has bosses, you can actually go and deal with it that way. But he's there for a reason. And so I'd look for another job.
Definitely.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah.
No reason to.
Okay.
All right.
I think my coworker is legit mentally ill. Don't know how to talk to her. There is no background for this.
Okay. Well, then don't. Yeah. Then if you don't know how to talk with someone without, then you don't.
Mhm.
You keep your interactions business, professional, and short.
That would be a blessing to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't deal with business, professional, and short, right? Talk about business, keep it professional, and you keep it short. That's how you deal with her.
Mhm.
So that one's actually an easy question.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Ordering separate meal for a religious coworker during company lunch.
Mm.
Now, she felt it was she had to pick out the restaurant,
Uh-huh.
okay, and provide the menu for everybody so they could pick. And she ordered,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd go pick it up. Now, there's a religious coworker,
Mm-hmm.
and she's Jewish. She's kosher.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants from a particular restaurant and a particular meal. And and this person who's doing all the work feels it's excessive.
Oh, this is why you don't have food at work.
Mm,
This is why you don't do these kind of things.
yeah.
Yeah, really, seriously. Now, every time I've always experienced this type of thing is the person with the specific tastes has always just excused themselves from participation. Right? I have unique needs, food needs, and I'm not going to force everybody else to go the excessive. I'm just going to go eat my normal lunch. Right? It's always happened. It's never been an issue for anybody. Right? So I don't understand. I've never come across. I don't have any actual experience with someone who is a religious person who wants someone to go put in extra effort. I've just never come across it. Now, what would I do?
I was vegetarian for a while, and I was working business, and I would ask for vegetarian meals, but usually um restaurants have a vegetarian option.
Well, yeah, because you can always order a salad, right? If nothing else,
Exactly. That's
if nothing else, you can order. Which realistically, I suppose, she probably could have ordered a salad. Salads are kosher.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of those things where it's perfectly acceptable to kind of if she could have found an option at the store at the place you were going, she should have had that option. She should have chosen the restaurant option. And quite frankly, if your food needs require some highly unique different things, you're the one who has to opt out of these things. That's
Bring your own meal.
Bring your own. Oh, yeah, don't go. Whatever. Go having your normal dinner, your normal lunch, whatever it is. If you've got unique needs, you fill them yourself, right? You don't expect other people to fill your unique needs. That's kind of my feeling on these things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending upon the business circumstances or whatnot, if I was a boss, would I send somebody else to go pick up her food? Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, I would.
I wouldn't ask this person to do it. I'd send somebody else or go do it myself. But Yeah, I also wouldn't be happy.
No, bet you wouldn't.
I do it, but I'm going, this person's a royal pain in the butt. Well, why did I hire them? Okay, so what's next?
I got stuck in my elevator and was late to work. And so it was beyond his control, right? So he thought it would be excused. But he was found tardy.
Yeah, well, God, I hate places that do that, to be honest. Micromanage your time.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. If you're chronically late, then it's one thing, but you get stuck in an elevator and they're going to, yeah, okay, they don't pay you for the 2 hours or whatever it took you to get there, but why are they going to make it an issue? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, this person has a problem with chronically being late. And that's the real issue. It says, yeah, we've heard it all before. Yeah. Last week it was a tire gotten flat. The week before it was your hamster had an anxiety attack. The week before that, if it's always something, at some point, they're just going to be tired of it, regardless if it's a legitimate thing or not. And it kind of depends on the nature of the business. If you're working an assembly line, they need you there when they need you there. It's a little different than other jobs where timing isn't so much an issue. So it may depend on. Even though just by that, it seems kind of excessive that they would worry about getting stuck in an elevator.
I know.
Which makes me kind of wonder that A, you're either working for a company that doesn't care, you should be looking for another job, or B, you're chronically late and this is, to them, it's just another excuse.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
My company got bought by a private equity firm. Should I be worried?
Yes and no. If you are a good employee who does your job and puts in and doesn't have issues, probably not. But the state of your company. Is your company failing, or is it thriving and has a good solid foundation and just needs some capital investment? Or is someone buying this and selling off the parts? Right? The state of your company you're working for. Because there's two things that these private equity firms do, right? They buy struggling companies and sell off the parts and just make whatever money they can off the parts. Or they buy a company that's undercapitalized. They come in, they streamline the operations, give it the capital investment it needs to expand, and then cash out later. If you happen to be in the second, then you're probably fine, right? You might want to go buy some, buy some stock. You might want to talk about getting some stock options. So when they go public, you can cash in as or they want on. Because if it's a good company, that's their plan. Their plan is to turn it around, make it a good, profitable company so they can sell out, sell it public and make a boatload of cash. That's the plan. Or the plan is to buy it and sell all the pieces. So how healthy your company is. If your company is unhealthy, you should be worried. If your company is healthy and you're a good worker, you probably have nothing to worry about. Now, they will restructure, but that actually can be an opportunity, again, if you're good at your job, it's an opportunity to move up. Or it's an opportunity to be part of closing something down, and which becomes its own skill, and you can be a hatchet man or hatchet person later on.
There you go.
There's all kinds of opportunities, even in the disassembly of a company. There's opportunities. So, should you be worried? You should be thoughtful. How's that?
Okay.
How's that? Okay.
Boss is kind of a jerk. How do I deal, or do I bite the bullet and move on?
Generically speaking, I say bite the bullet and move on, but it depends on rest of the job. Because you're not going to change your boss, right? Depending upon the size of the company, you can move sideways and move around your boss. get a different one. But it didn't kind of sound like that's an option. Like their boss is like the owner of the company or something, and your boss isn't going anywhere. So the choice is you. But the best way to get a raise is to change jobs, to get a big boost. But in this economy, be very careful. So here's the thing: start to look for an exit. How's that? Prepare for the exit. Start to look for jobs, prep your resume, look for stuff that's a reach, right? Don't go for a sideways move. Go for a move that's a step or even two above what you're at now. Have some faith in yourself. Okay.
Why does it seem like every job I've been to, blue collar, always incentivizes useless, lazy, bare minimum workers that they fire and throw hard workers to the side like nothing? Is there any job that gives raises on merit and skill and not for bootlicking and quarter cutting?
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing: what you call bootlicking, other people call being there. They're there. So when a promotion comes up, guess who's on their mind? It's not the guy who's quietly doing his job, because you never get seen. It's the person who's there, who's willing to do the difficult tasks that the boss needs done, that may not actually work out. You may have to take egg on your face, right? The people who are willing to do those jobs are the people who get rewarded. The people who are willing to take on the crap jobs that are likely to get blown up in their face, those are the people who get rewarded because they're actually valuable to your boss. They can replace you. Sorry. Good workers are a dime a dozen. People who are willing to take on tough tasks, people who are willing to work in the mud, to get dirty, are not. And lazy people don't get promoted. They may not get fired, but they don't get promoted. So I don't buy the lazy one. Bootlickers, sure, they get promoted all the time, but that's because they're there. They know what value that their boss wants, and they provide that value. They take the tough jobs. They take the jobs no one else wants. They take the jobs that are likely to fail, and then they cover for their boss. And so guess what happens when their boss gets a promotion? They promote that guy. Why? Because he'll do the dirty work for him. So how does that guy get promoted? He does the dirty work. He does the jobs no one else wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's willing to take the risks that no one else are willing to take. So you want to get noticed. You want to get moved up based on merit and skill. Show your skill on the tough jobs. You want to become the boss. Show your skill on the tough jobs. Take that job that's most likely to fail and make it succeed. Then you will get promoted. That's how you get promoted. That's how you get recognized. You don't get recognized by doing the routine work. You get recognized by doing the difficult job and making it succeed, or even just trying a job no one else wants to do. That's how you get recognized. All right. So what's next?
We have intimacy questions.
All righty then.
My girlfriend asked about an orgy with some of my friends and one of hers. At first, he's like jumped at it, he's like, yeah. But then he thought about it and he's like, I can't handle seeing her. I wouldn't be able to handle seeing her with somebody else. I want out. I can't do this. So, how does he break that to his girlfriend and these people?
Well, when you have a discussion, you guys going to have the discussion with her, or you're going to take one for the team and find out that maybe you can. There's only two ways to go about this, right? You're either going to have to, you're either going to have to pull the Band-Aid off and have that difficult discussion with her and just tell her exactly what you told Reddit, right? It's not complicated. You don't have to make it complicated. Or you're going to have to go with your initial instinct like theoretical cold feet type of thing. I get orgies are easier when no one cares. I get it. Yeah, when there's no emotions involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get emotions involved with these kind of things, it can become weird or not. It, but the reality is you don't actually know how you're going to deal with these kind of things until you're there.
Mm.
You don't know. You can guess. You don't actually know. Like you don't know how you're going to handle a bunch of naked bodies walking around until you're in a thing with a bunch of naked bodies running around.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
it just how it. So if it's something you want to experience, then experience it. If it's not, then you have a difficult discussion. But experienced people understand these kind of things. So I don't worry too much about it. All right, what's next?
What could be the reasons my girlfriend sometimes masturbates instead of having sex with me?
It takes less energy.
Definitely.
Sometimes the idea of it's stress relief. It's not. You're not looking for intimacy. You're looking for stress relief.
And it's less emotions. You just, sometimes you just want to get in, get out.
Yeah, it's stress relief.
Yeah.
It's not always. You're not always looking for intimacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's no different than a man. Why would you masturbate instead of have sex? Well, because you won't have sex with me. Well, maybe, but but my guess is you do it sometimes without asking her, and yeah, so it's the same reasons. The same reason you do it. She's not that different than you. Okay, what's next?
I would like to initiate with my boyfriend by just grabbing his junk, but what am I supposed to do after that?
Well, you've got it in your hand. Hello, McFly. Some of these things are self-explanatory, right? You can lead him wherever you want him, and just let nature take its course.
Won't he kind of figure out what she wants just by doing that
Well, no, she wants
and respond?
no. What she's afraid of rejection.
Ooh.
She's afraid of what every man has to deal with. She's afraid of going up, grabbing his junk, and him not being in the mood.
Well, if she does it on a consistent basis, eventually she's gonna hit on one of those times.
Yeah, trust me, he's not going to be offended. I mean, he may be surprised. That's a different thing. He's not going to be offended. Not right now, but you can, increase the likelihood of acceptance by timing. Right? 10:00 on a Saturday night when no one's got anything going on, it's probably more likely to be successful than, I don't know, 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. I don't know, 3 a.m. on a Tuesday would probably be a pretty good time to do it too. So never mind. But 3 p.m. on a Tuesday or something when he's got to get back to work or something. There's timing.
Yeah.
Timing counts. So that's my suggestion. But have a plan. Whatever it is, have a plan. So you want to initiate, but she just wants to just grab it, and then now you take the rest of the thing. No. You've got to have a plan, and initiate means more than just grabbing his junk. Yeah. You're gonna have to actually, initiate. It's fine. It's all right. Here's the thing about this kind of thing. Even failure is kind of fun. So have some fun.
There you go.
All right, what's next?
How do I freshen up down there if we do it spontaneously? And how do I get him to be fresh too? Well, you can, right before you go do the deed, you can say, hold on, I want to do something with you. And then go get a warm washcloth and wash you both off. There you go.
He don't care that much.
But she does.
Yes, I know. He don't care that much.
Yeah.
We prefer the taste of natural flavors over soap almost every time. Just wanted to point this out.
But you'll still go ahead.
Well, sure, but
Sure.
same preferences. Didn't say deal breakers. We said preferences. So
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, just wash them off. Baby wipe, wet wipe, whatever you want, whatever. I suppose those leave a film, so the washcloth thing is probably. But yeah, they sell these kind of things. Just go to the sex shop and buy a wipe. It would be my suggestion.
Okay.
All right.
How do I make myself more sensitive? It takes her a long time, like up to an hour masturbating. And she tried with a toy, without a toy, it's still the same problem.
She may need to try ask a doctor.
Okay.
That would be my actual suggestion. They may have medications. I mean, you could probably go to the sex store and buy stuff that you can put on down there to help with stimulation. But I would talk to an actual doctor before I try that kind of thing.
Okay.
Just because sometimes it's just like that, right? Not everybody gets easy. Not everybody gets easy orgasms. So, yeah. But you could also make the case is maybe you're not in the mood as much in the mood for those as you think you are. Maybe you're masturbating out of habit instead of out of desire.
Mm.
And so you're lacking the one thing especially women need is the emotion behind it.
Mm.
It's mechanical. That's another possibility to consider. All right, what's next?
How to deal with when new girlfriend has a disturbing kink preference.
Enjoy it. It's a little bit of a crass answer there, but
Well, she's into feet.
well, how's that disturbing?
Which is unusual. Well, they're kind of young.
Look, all right.
But they're 18.
All right. 8 really? That's disturbing? You think that's disturbing? You have not searched the internet. I suggest you don't, because stay naive on that one. Yeah. Enjoy it is my suggestion. It's probably worth it, especially if it's just a feet thing.
Yeah.
Get used to it, because on the grand scheme of things, that barely moves the needle. So consider yourself lucky if that's her kink, because you could have found one that's got something that you would find far more disturbing. Yeah, don't search the internet for sexual kinks, please, for the love of God, whatever that person does. Well, so what is disturbing is we are out of time. So thank you for joining us tonight. We love you. We are out of here. I'm not sure how to end after that one. So I'm just going to end. You guys have a good night. We will see you next week. Please remember, love everybody.
Good night.